of the season, and we've stepped up a notch. It's live. We're not doing this recorded anymore. We are completely live, and it brings me amazing pleasure to put on the best Birmingham City YouTuber of all time, the GOAT of Birmingham City YouTube, the GOAT of Birmingham YouTube, for God's sake. It's Brummie Joe. Brummie Joe, how are you, mate?
You're right, mate. I'm very good. Got to put some respect on Davo's name still. Davo's the main man. But yeah. Oh man. Yeah, happy to be here. Good to talk to you, mate. It's been a while.
Good man. I'm looking forward to the banter because me and you have connected through crowds, actually, haven't we? It was actually, I think it was the first time you visited Carrow Road. We exchanged a little one of those, as you do, and then weirdly we connected from that very moment. That can
be perceived in a much different way, Chris.
God, blimey, this is beyond the watershed.
1 minute in.
Before we start, actually, I just want to welcome everyone that's already watching. Really appreciate it. As always, don't forget we've got a Ko-fi page. Feel free to donate just to help towards the running costs of the channel. And a big thanks, as always, to our fantastic sponsors, Idro, Ask, Reeve Social Media, Credo Asset Finance, Hill Coaching, Gasway, Hoffer and Webb, and of course, our official charity partner of the season, Big C. And just one last announcement before we get started in this opposition preview. A huge thank you to all of you that put your bids on the Anel Hernandez signed boots. It brings me great pleasure to say that they went for £200 today, and that money will go towards vital cancer research here in Norfolk. So thank you very much. I really appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Joe, let's do this. Let's start with your season, because you've kept it's been a funny old ride for you already, isn't it? So you've had 1 win, 3 draws, and 1 loss. What do you take from that?
Birmingham. I think that's what you got to take from it. Honestly, I don't think we've had a terrible start to the season, and I'm trying to remain positive as always, Chris. You've taught me that much. But I think it's just been... Last season, we had quite a terrible defence. Birmingham there, Greggs. The one side, we have really tightened up. We haven't conceded more than 1 goal in a game this season. However, we haven't scored more than 1 goal in a game either. And that's the tricky part. That's the part we're trying to sort out.
So how the hell Brentford? How the hell did you beat Brentford?
How the hell did we beat them last season?
Birmingham. No one knows how you do this.
I think that's the thing, though. Yes, we aren't able to score goals, but I think if you can tighten up your defence, keep them out, there's always the chance that you're going to get a bit of a jammy goal here or there or something. And I think I don't think we've played terribly this season at all. So I wouldn't underestimate us in that sense. It's just, for us, it's having that option in the final third now. Jonathan Lecco played the last 10 minutes or so in the last game, and it's like the game started there for us. So I'm hoping he can give us another option tomorrow night, at least.
Okay, right. Well, we shall see about that. Let's talk about last season. Dare I say, this is just classic Birmingham. You were flirting with relegation. You finish in 20th place. I mean, I can see it in your face already, Joe. How was that ride for you last season?
I feel like I'm deja vu constantly, every single season, and I feel like it's going to happen again, genuinely. But I think there's a difference now. I'm still feeling slightly more optimistic about our future, given what's happened over the summer and that. I think last season it all started with us having this uncertainty around who our manager was going to be. We sacked Monk. We had Pep Platet in as interim, or whatever. What was it called? Caretaker, head coach, and that went on until January at least. But listen, we didn't play terribly. We were all right, but coming out of lockdown, we were one of the worst teams in the Championship. We were absolutely terrible. We couldn't get going, and just weren't good. Let's just write it off.
Was there a point where you were like, we're about to be in the same league as Ipswich Town?
You had to get that in there, didn't you?
Did you fear no, seriously, did you think that you were going to get relegated last season?
I think the fear cropped into my mind. I just think we were lucky enough to have had enough points before lockdown. But I think the frustrating thing last season was that we just seemed to have no desire, bar the odd player. Like, I think Bellingham was the only player really post lockdown that actually showed that they wanted it. And I was frustrated with every single player because it's like they'd just given up. They just thought the season was a write-off, didn't want to play. There's so many different factors, but yeah, it was really frustrating.
Well, we'll get well into it, and we'll talk about Jude Bellingham in just a minute. But let's just have a quick interlude to get some comments up on screen. Oscar Blythe says, "Come on, you yellows." Bakewell on YouTube says, "Up the nodge." I agree. to play the other side of the market, we've got Up the Blues.
Go on, Ellis.
Oh, that sounds horrible on this channel. Jack, nice to see you're watching. Jack Reeve says Birmingham. Nice contribution there, Jack. Oh, what do you think of this? Lee Hinton, Brummie Joe, Birmingham, Mr. Negative. Cheer up,
he's a good friend of mine. He's very much Mr. Negative himself. It's good to see you watching, Lee.
Yeah, he's watching his biggest fan. And here's something that's going to wind you up, Joe. How does it feel as a Brum supporter to see Villa this season?
Honestly, it's a bit of a mad one. We won't talk about it too much, but they you know when you say Birmingham are Birmingham, it's the same on that other side of the coin. Villa are Villa. They just seem to get away with it, and fair play to them. They've actually made the right decisions this season. But the less we say about that, the better. Right,
back onto the questions. What is the target for Birmingham City this season, Joe? Like, where do you realistically expect Joe? Where do you realistically expect Birmingham to finish this season?
For me,
relegation.
I would like to see us. I would like to see us progress from last season. That's what I want. I don't want us to be flirting with relegation again. I want us to establish an identity, which we seem to be doing the Karanka style. It's just a bit of an attacking threat, a bit of creativity would not go amiss. And so I'd say like somewhere like mid-table, somewhere where we can look at it, end the season, reflect on it and be like, okay, we've grown, we've made these additions, we've changed our identity, now we can add to it and push on further. I think that's the most realistic way you can go about it.
So what does that mean? Mid-table, playoffs, automatic?
Mid-table, I think.
So you're aspiring to mid-table, yeah?
That's at the minute. It's not an aspiration, but I think it's just realistic.
No, fair play. No, I appreciate that. You mentioned him there, Mr. Karanka. Let's talk about him and what is life like as a Birmingham City fan under Mr. Karanka at the moment?
Pretty boring. I've got to say, I'm happy with him. Okay. And I know that it's not going to happen overnight.
Okay.
At the minute, it's sort of boring to watch because one, we're not at the ground, we're not at the game, we're not watching it, and it's a bit dull. But it's not, like I say, it's not going to happen overnight. We need to just wait. We've stopped one problem, which is us conceding so many goals.
Yeah.
And I think it's just going to take a little bit of time this season to get up and running.
Okay.
So overall, I am happy with him.
Okay. And on the note of managers, head coaches, caretaker managers, carpet cleaners, whoever Birmingham City have as their manager, why is there such a managerial merry-go-round at Birmingham City? Why do you guys never stick to one manager? Is it purely the owners? Is that the issue there?
I think there's a lot. A lot that we do know, a lot that we don't know about it. But I think I know for one that Karanka's been a manager that they've been after for quite a while. That's an interesting thought there. We're going to have to see if that's. We just don't know, do we? But for me, he seems a proper manager with good experience in the Championship. So he's got my faith until he loses it. And I guess that's the point of the board. To answer your question, though, Chris, I think there's been this cycle at Birmingham City where we've gone for attacking football. We want to play. They've come in. They're like, we want to play this free flowing attacking football, like your promotion season.
Well, I was going to say Norwich City, yeah.
You know, yeah. Well, I don't. Yeah, but exactly like your promotion season. And what has happened is that has completely failed because they are so short. They thought so short term. We want to get promoted in one season. You get to the 2/3 of the way into the season, it's falling apart. We look like we're going to get relegated. Oh, we got to bring in Harry Redknapp. We got to bring in Gary Monk. We got to bring in someone to save it. Sam Allardyce next. So the difference now, I think, is they are thinking a little bit more long term. They are looking like they're learning from their lessons. So that's what gives me a crumb of faith.
Do you want to think that, though? But do you want to think that, or do you actually believe that? Because how many times have Birmingham City been in this position where you've had a decent manager with decent pedigree and it's all gone out the window after half a season?
I think the difference is I do have faith. Is it blind faith? Maybe, but I think I'll go insane otherwise. But the difference is we aren't trying to be Barcelona. You know what I mean? We're
Birmingham.
We've made some pretty shrewd signings. I think we've had a lot of money coming from Bellingham, for example. We've not spent a ton, so we're not having another Redknapp scenario, which I'm happy with because it's going to, we're signing some good players, and also, like I say, we're not trying to play like Barcelona. We're just addressing the issues in our squad, and we're working sensibly. It looks like, so that's why I have a little bit of faith.
Ownership wise, Joe, at the top, there's been obviously a lot of disgruntled supporters. Everyone saw those videos on social media fairly recently. Has that sort of simmered down now? Are fans now back on board with the owners of Birmingham, or is it? Because I feel like with you guys, it's just always like treading on eggshells. It's like 3 results away from riots at Birmingham almost.
I think what we've been asking for is a bit of transparency from the board, and I think there's an understandable level of frustration with what's been going on the past few years, and I think we're Birmingham City. We're okay. We just want to be like listened to. We want the owners to be transparent, and we don't want to. Well, I just think that's what's happening now. That's why we're giving them another chance. We've actually had Dong Ren is I think he's the CEO or something, and he's been quite influential in terms of hiring and firing, and we've been quite frustrated at times. For example, when Monk got sacked, a lot of us were very frustrated.
Yeah,
we don't know the whole reason for that because there were a number of things that came out that might have gave reason for that. You just never know the whole truth with it, but I think it's almost the case now of like, okay, we're giving you another chance. I think it's almost like going back to that old ex or whatever, but who knows?
And this is it. I'm so pleased you brought this up, Joe. And I want Norwich fans to listen to what Joe just said. Look at the pain in his eyes when he asks for his club to be transparent. And we are so lucky at Norwich. I'm not doing this to rub it in for you, Joe, but I do want fans to realise we are so lucky that we've got owners that love our club. Yes, they're down to the last peanuts, but they love our club. They're willing to give it absolutely everything. They turn up to every game. And most importantly, the board and top brass are as transparent as they possibly can be. And that's massive, absolutely massive. Let's go to the YouTube comments very, very quickly here. Here we go. Todd the Blue Nose on Periscope via Twitter. He says, why are you being so negative about Blues? Norwich were the ones who were relegated last season. It's a very, very valid point. What's your take on that, Joe?
I've always been quite positive with Blues, and I think maybe it does come out in a negative way, but I do feel like this is a long road, and I've said it on this as well, that although it might sound negative, I am quietly optimistic about our long-term future as it happens. Like as it stands right now, it looks like we're finally starting to build something. The only thing I can ask and pray for is that we give Karanka time.
Yeah, agreed.
And I think it has to come from the fans as well.
Wow.
I think in terms of my comments about it being boring, it's more of the fact that we can't go to the games. And
of course, but that's completely true. Completely true. Alison Reeve, of course, Jack's mum, for those of you that don't know, she says, room looking a tad dark, Chris. Is the light broken? If any of you watched the watch along at the weekend, you would have known the 95th minute penalty winner meant that I smashed my head on my light. And actually, as a consequence, it also means now that the light is actually broken. So that will need to be fixed by tomorrow night for sure, because we'll be doing another watch along. Colin Rogers says Gary Monk will save Sheffield Wednesday. Absolutely agree with that, Colin. What do you think, Joe?
100%. He's a quality manager.
Good manager, isn't he?
Very good manager. And look, he's doing a good job there. Very happy for him.
Yeah. Simon Duart on Facebook. Sorry if I've not pronounced your name properly there, Simon. He says, we're not that transparent, are we? The point is, Simon, look at this. Look at Joe and what he's saying and just how untransparent they are and how close they are. So, yes, I would say we're probably 90 out of 100% transparent. There's still some work to be done, but we are so blessed as Norwich fans, and we need to try to look at the positives during these times. Absolutely indeed. Jack says, RIP the lampshade. Thank you very much indeed. Will says, where do you get your rims from, Chris? I'll tell you now, they are Dipple and Conway, based in Norwich. They're not paying for advertisements, so I'm not going to give them any more of a plug. But yeah, they were, they're very nice indeed. They're Savile Row, same as Johnny Depp. Joe, I'm quite a fan of your specs as well on that note.
I don't actually know why are they Ted Baker.
Oh, look at you. Blimey, you money's got to you there, mate. John Merrill, I love this from John. He's calling you out there. He says, boring football won us the Carling Cup, Joe, wink face.
If it gets us results, it gets us results. Happy days.
I'm really sorry to ask this question. What the hell does crow mean? I've seen this a lot in the comments.
It means keep right on.
Okay, right. So that's what we have like BC, yeah?
With like what, sorry?
Like On the Ball City for us.
Yes.
Okay, right. Bit of an footballing education. Right. Again, back to this is different doing it live. I'd normally have a scripted questions, but we're getting some comments in as well, which is nice. Joe, tell us who your players to watch. Who in your squad do you think could do some damage to Norwich City?
Wow. It's a question. I'm joking. I'm joking. I think the thing is we have got a number of good players. Unfortunately, I think our key threat at the minute is Duke, who's out. I believe it seems like he missed the last game. It doesn't really say why, but I'll imagine he won't be back for this game. So in terms of that threat, which I think would have been really useful against you guys, we're going to have to go a different route. All I will say is we know Scott Hogan up front can score goals. Yes, he's been lacking a bit recently, but he hasn't had the best service. So it's whether we can get that to him. I think in our last game the midfield was a bit wrong, but we've got a lot of options now. So I think he might try Sunjic in there with Clayton, perhaps. Gardner had a bit of a stinker. But I think our main threat would probably be from out wide, our two wingers. We've got Jeremy Bella and Ivan Sanchez. Sanchez joined us in the summer, and he just looks a very tricky player to deal with. He does. If we had Duke in there to get his head on the end of it, happy days. But we're just going to have to hope Hogan can nick something.
Of course, you know of course, Hogan, a player that Norwich City were once in for. So there must be some.
He's a poacher, mate. If he can capture his pre-lockdown form, he could be a very big threat. He got 7 goals in 9 games before lockdown, and then went nothing.
Okay. Good. That's the way we like it. Joe, who are you most fearful of in this Norwich City side? Who do you look at in that Norwich team and go, oh crap, I'm not looking forward to coming up against them?
Oh God.
Do you want me to?
Is Cantwell playing? Cantwell isn't playing, is he, at the minute?
No. Is Cantwell a player that you would be worried of as the opposition?
Potentially. Buendia, I think Timu Pukki though is just the main one. He scored again. You shared that video, didn't you? Or Jack?
Yeah, we have.
He's a striker that any team in this league would love to have, and I think that's it. I mean, you can play beautiful football. We can try and keep you out, but when you've got someone like that, they only need one chance.
See, Joe, you might be in for a bit of luck because we might have Hugill start instead of Pukki.
Oh, don't say that.
Have you had a good time against him recently?
Yeah, I think we were in. It was one of them typical Blues things. We were in for him, and then we were in for him while he was at Preston,
Yeah.
And while that was happening, we played them and he scored against us.
You know what? He smells of Birmingham. Like, he really does stink of
smells
Birmingham. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's that sort of shithouse player that just bashes people about. Just a big lump up front. Like, that's Birmingham, isn't it? Just big lumps and aggressive tacklers.
He's got posters of Djukovic on his wall. That's what he's got. Yeah, he's a quality player, man.
Let's one thing I do want to speak about to mourn your loss is Jude Bellingham. How do you feel going into the season without him, and just how big of a player was he for Birmingham?
I think it wasn't just his ability, which he clearly had. It was his desire and his passion that was really, that you could take a lot from. It was absolutely incredible to watch him play. I think there were rumours before he left that he might come back on loan, but as you can see, he's playing regularly for Dortmund at the minute. So I've seen videos, man. If you put in better players around him, he looks 10 times the player as well. So personally, I'm happy for him because it's a natural progression. He's gone to a good club that are good with young talent, and I think he's playing the Champions League. Is it tonight or tomorrow?
Probably, mate.
Ridiculous playing in the Champions League.
Joe, what's your take as well on the retirement of your number?
That's one of the few things that this Dong bloke has done to wind us up. One, he's had an office set up in the training ground so he can keep an eye on it. Okay. And he's had there's been rumours of he's been in the manager's ears quite a lot, saying you should do this and that. And he doesn't seem to know a lot about football. Wearing his full tracksuit on the training pitch with his boots on. I think he wants to start up front from us. To his credit, he's had a bit of banter on Twitter since, and I think it's taken the edge off it. But sorry, what was your question? I went on a bit of a rant about that.
I wanted to ask you about Jude Bellingham, and then I went to the retirement of the shirt. So
yeah, I don't think it's that big a deal personally. What I would like to see is his younger brother plays for us at the minute. He's 15, and he's meant to be just as good, if not better, for his age. I think he plays for England under 19s at the minute as the captain.
Oh, nice.
Might be under 17s captain.
Nice.
But the only thing with him is that I hope that pressure doesn't get to him too much.
Yeah.
But the ideal thing would be if he came through.
Oh, yeah, I like that. Birmingham is what you do. Let's quickly navigate to the comments. Mark Stivart on YouTube says, "Does Birmingham smell?" Joe, does Birmingham smell?
I think he was regarding your Hugo comment.
Yeah, he
does
was.
It smell? I don't know. Who knows? Maybe. It smells good.
He does smell a little bit indeed. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that username. Says Plaheta is king. I agree. He is. I'm looking forward to seeing him play more. Absolutely. Jack, good evening to you. Nice to see you indeed. Look at this here. Mark's going 4-1 Birmingham. Goodness gracious. Get your money on that now, big man. Ollie, hello to you too. Colin says, a must-win Tuesday night. Play Pookie and Hugo. I completely agree. Let's put the pressure on Birmingham from the off. And the reason why I said offer is this. Ollie Taylor says, Joe, what's your opinion on after Che Adams left? So I guess what he's meaning there is what's been the impact of him leaving? Are you disappointed with that, or how does that?
Yeah, that's a great one because Che Adams was unbelievable in that season for us. And I've said 6 Pillows knees questioning, mate. There's 5 more down there. I've got to say, I've said it since he got into the Premier League. I had an argument with my mate, and he was like, "Oh, he's not a Premier League player." And I was like, he came up from League One. It took him a season or two. He got to grips with it, and he pushed on. And now he's starting games for Southampton. He's finally got his first goal of this season, 2 assists. He's playing well, and that's left a big gaping hole up front for us, which I'm hoping Scott Hogan can fill. He's one of them players that, unfortunately, in our situation, when we have to sell him and get the money for him, it's a shame.
We shall see.
Happy for him, man. Happy for him.
There's been an early score prediction. Katie Lear, she's up for it. She says 5-1 Norwich City. Katie, you can come again. Before we go back to the questions, I want everyone that's watching this now, put your score prediction in the comment section, and I will show every single one of them. Every single one of them. I'll get up on screen and let's read them out. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we can make Joe absolutely shit scared for tomorrow night. Right. Let's go to the last fixture, the last time that you played the mighty Yellows, Joe. That was at Carrow Road, of course. 3-1 to Norwich. Pookie, Branchich and Tribal, the scorers. Che Adams, of course, was scoring for you. At that time.
Yeah.
It was a pretty typical Norwich display in that league-winning campaign. 66 possession, double the amount of passes. What do you remember of that game?
I remember that classic Che Adams finish. I think he had one touch turn goal. I was like, it was unbelievable. Gave me a little bit of hope, which was quickly extinguished. I remember being there fuming, hate the drive down to Norwich, and I was like, come on. But I just miss being in the ground. The game itself, we never seem to do well against you at your ground.
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that. Because this is the type of game where I honestly think, and I seriously think the blueprint for beating Norwich at the moment is park the bus, hit us on the counter, and wait for a mistake to happen. Our defence is currently a little bit shaky, mate. So I wouldn't write yourself off just yet, indeed. But you are right. But actually, saying that, and we'll go to the head-to-head in a minute, you'll be quite surprised at the head-to-head history. Right, there's loads of score predictions coming in now, absolutely loads, and I'm going to try and get through every single one of them. So here we go. This could be a challenge, could be here all night. Andrew says, City to win 3-0. The season starts properly tomorrow night. Andrew, absolutely love that profile picture there. Here we go. Matt says 3-1 Norwich. Andrew says, 3-0 Norwich. He's changed his mind. Callum says 3-1 Norwich. George, Birmingham fan, says a Desmond 2-2. You up for a 2-2? Would you take a 2-2?
I'd have a Desmond all day, mate.
Yeah, you stink of a Desmond, you do. Matt says 2-0 Norwich. Jack said, Jack's gone for a Desmond as well. Here he is again. Quite a popular scoreline in the predictions at the moment. Ben Allen, bit of banter. He says, where's Jack? Is he still on the bake-off? Absolutely. Yes, he does look like the guy that was on the bake-off last year. Absolute classic. Glenn says 2-0 Norwich. Oh, Jesus. Tom's up for it. He goes 3-0 Blues.
Wow. That would be typical Blues, that would.
Birmingham. You never know what Birmingham are going to turn up. It's either going to be Birmingham 20th place finish flirting with relegation Birmingham, or Barcelona Birmingham, where they just go and beat Brentford, go and beat one of the top sides. Here we go. Oh, God, I've lost all these comments now. I'm so sorry. Simon says 1-0 Norwich. Ski Jump Toes, great username, by the way, says 3-1 Norwich. Mark, 4-1 Birmingham. That's strong. Ollie says 2-1 Norwich. Hugill Brace. Yes, please. Christopher Rayner says 3-1. 3-1 who? Oh, Canaries 3, Birmingham 1. Ryan says 3-2 Norwich. Barry, friend of the channel, what a profile picture. Always got to respect that fish. That's a lovely catch. That's a solid catch there. What do you rate that catch, Joe?
It's a solid 8 out of 10 for me. I don't know a lot about fish, but he's got a big smile on his face. There you go.
What, the fish or Barry?
Yeah, the fish.
Barry, we love you. Thanks for your comment. Good to see you as always. Josh says 2-1 Norwich. Mark says 2-2. He's gone for Desmond. Jason 2-1. Right. There's too many score predictions. I'm sorry. I'm going against my word now. Right, Joe. You said you always seem to do badly against Norwich. I disagree. The head-to-head historically means that Norwich City have only won one extra game than Birmingham. We've won 24, you've won 23, and we've drawn 23. So this leads me on to the big moment. I need your score prediction, but I need it in two ways. What was your head saying, and what was your heart saying?
Oh.
And yes, I will clip this up if you say something bad.
Let me think about this one. Okay, so my head is saying.
That's all right, mate. We've got all night.
you are a threat. You are a threat. I think we have a solid defense. Oh, I don't want to regret this, man. But what I'm going to do is I'm saying my heart is saying 1-0 Norwich. My heart is saying 1-0 Norwich. My head is saying 1-0 Norwich. And my heart is saying 1-0 Blues. I think it could go either way.
Wow, a 1-0 swinger either way. Well, I'm going to put my balls on the line now. This is where Norwich City's season starts. Jordan Hugill to start and get a hat-trick. Norwich City 4, Birmingham City 0. Joe, before you go, We'll have a bit of chat at the end with the people in the comment section as always. Where can people best give you some stick online? Of course, you've got your Twitter account there, but how do we find your YouTube channel? Where's that?
That's my Twitter. My Instagram is just Brummie Joe. Take off the HD. YouTube, search Brummie Joe, and it should pop up hopefully. And yeah, just give me a bit of stick.
Absolute top man. We will make sure we do that. Thank you so much for coming on tonight, mate. Always appreciate it. Always appreciate it. Here we go, by the way. Something I haven't talked about before you go. Daniel Wright's rolling back the years. That infamous penalty shootout, of course.
Aaron Carter for the Premiership.
I almost went for an F-bomb there. That's heartbreaking. Cardiff, Millennium Stadium, Ewan Roberts, Paul McVeigh. We had some ballers back then, mate. You did us.
God, yeah. What a moment. I can't. How old was I then? I must have been 7 or 8.
That was probably primetime Birmingham for you, right?
I think shortly after that was.
No, there was the cup, of course. There was the cup.
The cup is a yeah. But in terms of our Premier League stuff, yeah, I think it's the cup came at the right time. I felt very lucky. I was 15 or 16 when we won that, so
good. Well, Joe, thank you so much for coming on tonight. I really appreciate it. And thank you to every single person that's watching. Thank you to every single person that's commented. Thank you to every single person that's always supported TNC through and through. We've got a watch along tomorrow night, so make sure you are there for more absolute scenes when Hugill scores a banger. Apart from that, Joe, thanks very much, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Good stuff. That is it. That's the 5th opposition preview of the season. It was live. Let us know if you want more of this, and hopefully next time I will speak to you guys will be after Norwich City with 3 points in the bag. See you, Joe.